The U.S. pork industry owes a huge debt of gratitude to Dr. Billy Flowers for his innumerable contributions during his illustrious career. As an animal science professor, he has become a legend at North Carolina State University, serving as a mentor to students for decades. Among his many accomplishments, he pioneered the use of human ultrasound machines in pork production.
Dr. Flowers' biggest contribution to the pork industry is his dedication. Whether it's something practical on the farm, such as inseminating animals, or looking at reproductive issues in a different way, or participating on the different boards to evaluate the different research proposals that the industry is now involved in. I think Dr. Flowers' professionalism and dedication is probably the biggest thing he brings. Dr. Flowers' dedication to the pork industry means he's very credible. He doesn't have an agenda. He seeks for the answer. Whether it's something that's predictable or unpredictable, you can always rely on the fact that he does good research, and he's going to take you where the research results show you need to go.
Billy was raised near Blacksburg, Virginia, where his father served as Associate Dean of Extension for Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, better known as Virginia Tech. His parents were raised during the Great Depression, and therefore Flowers learned to do more with less, a skill he has applied to his teaching and research. He grew up spending much of his youth on the farms of his aunts and uncles. He was also involved in 4-H and FFA, which helped to inspire his career. During his senior year of high school, his parents gave him money for a class ring, but he used the money to buy a pair of bread gilts instead. Billy attended Virginia Tech as an animal science major and graduated in 1982. He attended graduate school at the University of Missouri, earning master's and doctorate degrees. At the University of Missouri, he had the privilege to work with Billy Day, a world-renowned pork reproductive physiologist.
I had the good fortune of working with Dr. Billy Day. I think at that time he was one of the few people working that actually worked both on the basic side of research as well as the applied side. I also had a really good fortune where I met Dr. John Massey and Miss Janet Massey, and actually lived on their farm. And Dr. Massey was actually the state beef cattle extension specialist at Missouri. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. I was working for a world-renowned scientist, and then also got to work with a person who was just excellent working with people and producers and things like that. And so that's what I really, really enjoyed about Missouri.
It was the combination of wanting to make things better, along with his appreciation of people, that steered his career into teaching and research. In 1987, Billy joined North Carolina State University in a position that was split between extension and research. Today, he also teaches and works on research.
So when I came here, the industry was really on the cusp of sort of growing. We had some really innovative producers that were really willing to listen to a young guy who had some interesting but maybe crazy ideas, and they really opened up their farms and let me on and let me do some research and stuff, and that was really, really good.
Working to prepare the next generation, his teaching responsibilities include Introduction to Animal Science, Pork Production and Management, and Advanced Pork Reproduction Management. He also serves as an advisor to more than 70 students each year.
Overall, when I think about Dr. Flowers, probably the first thing that comes to mind is that he's super smart and quiet, and he can memorize everybody's name in his classes. He could probably still tell you where I sat in that first class. The most memorable times I have working with Dr. Flowers would probably be at the swine research farm there at NC State. We did a lot of summer work, we did a lot of early morning work, lots and lots of stuff with boar reproduction, so him getting me comfortable with those boars and learning what we had to do in the lab.
Over the years, Billy saw many changes in the pork industry and found that the best approach is to listen and learn.
I've always tried to listen first, and then I've always tried to be honest in how you address things.
The initial adoption of large-scale commercial artificial insemination in the pork industry received mixed reactions from producers. He approached a progressive producer in North Carolina where different combinations of matings were tested. They began by using natural cervix for the first mating followed by 1 or 2 artificial inseminations. This allowed him to evaluate different skills and gradually replace the boar with an AI mating.
One of the producers when I first came, and he's no longer with us unfortunately, was Hans Alhusen. But Hans was really an innovator, and he really was one of the first people that sort of said, yes, come and do stuff on my farm. And so he opened up his farm.
Billy says the people in the pork industry are talented and savvy enough to figure out the best systems in which to raise pork. They will adapt as they always have.
So I think it has become a business. But the thing I tell people, it's still a family business. And so you can't ever take the love and compassion that people put into things. That never comes out of the swine industry. It's still a family business.
In my opinion, Dr. Flowers' biggest contribution to the U.S. pork industry has to be just the interest he garners in his students in the swine industry. So you can Google all of his papers and all his research, all the trips he's taken and meetings he's presented in. His passion for the industry and getting students inspired in that is probably his biggest contribution.
Billy's family has provided support and served as an inspiration throughout his life. From the foundation that he received from his parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, to the support of his wife and children throughout his career, he is grateful. In addition, Flowers would like to thank the students he has worked with throughout the years.
When you teach, that you give them part of yourself and then you get a little bit of them, and that kind of shapes and changes how you do stuff.
The pork industry is grateful for his many years of dedicated teaching and research.
If I could say thank you to Dr. Flowers, I would have to tell him thank you for believing in me and supporting me. Even when I wasn't his student, when I went away to graduate school, he was still a supportive figure for me. He pushed me to do what he knew I could do. So I would have to tell him thank you for that.
Billy's dedication to the industry and support of his colleagues is something they also appreciate.
If I could say something to Dr. Flowers, I would say thank you very much for the help in the early years on the projects that we worked. I think they've been very successful. I think the Insemination AI Center project was kind of groundbreaking in that it was something that was very new then for the industry. I appreciate him helping make that a success, and I also appreciate all the advice and wisdom that he's given not only me but the rest of the industry throughout his many years of service.
Thank you, Dr. Billy Flowers, for many years of inspired dedication and selfless service to the future generations of the pork industry. Our producers are also grateful for your inspiration to others and a determination to innovate the U.S. pork industry. We wish you the best in the future.